pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the City of Sydney, greatest city on earth meeting, Tuesday, April 14th. We have our Open Meetings Act that we're going to do everything by the book tonight.
Well,
Oh, yeah, we really are. And I know there's a whole bunch of people in here that just want to talk to us. I just want to make sure it's clear if there are anybody that wants to say something to the council that's not an agenda item, and not all the agenda items will have public comments, but if you want to say something after we approve the meeting, number 3 will be comments by the public, but I just want to prepare everybody for that. So, I guess number 2, do we have any questions on the meeting minutes that have been so eloquently written every meeting?
by yourself?
No, we've got a new one. Paul just approved them. I don't know how to deal with this. I'm assuming that's a motion to approve by Mr. Stroman.
Yes. I'll second.
Second by Mr. Bondergaard. Roll call, please.
Stroman,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Bondegaard.
Yes.
Perfect. Motion passes 5-0 to approve the meeting of March 2023. Now, comments by the public. Does anybody want to tell us something nice, give us money?
Do you want me to come up front? I'll be the first one to break the ice.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Is it money?
Please.
No, it's welcoming, kind of.
Let us know who you are and what you do for a living.
Well, Council, my name is Casey Canner. I'm the Transportation Director. I was going to do a proclamation, but I think we already have too many on the agenda. So it is Public Transit Week for the state of Nebraska. The transportation did about 4 million miles last year, or 100,000 miles, 4 million riders. So we are doing real good. This week is to celebrate. We go to the governor, sign a proclamation with him, and this week we have like a buy one, get one half off on our scan passes. I'm doing a dinner for my drivers, and then thanks to a sponsorship with the Sydney Regional Medical Center, it's free rides all week for anyone who rides the bus. So I just want to tell you guys that things are going great. We have a great sponsorship with the hospital going on right now, so just kind of want you guys to aware of what's going on, and increased number of riders the last 2 days, so we hope to see that continue on and continue on after Public Transit Week. So
Excellent.
I just want to share the good news.
I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
And he was under time. Oh, yeah. Public comment, he only gets 3.
All right, I assume that is it, so we'll just go right into number 4. In all caps, the 2023 National Library Week proclamation.
Bridget was not able to be here, so I'm Amanda Easton. I'm director of Sydney Public Library, and 2023 National Library Week is April 23rd to April 29th, and we would request a proclamation from the mayor.
Would love to do that.
Do I have to stand here while you read it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pay attention. No, if you want to listen.
Too soft.
National Library Week 2023 proclamation. Whereas libraries provide the opportunity for everyone to pursue their passions and engage in lifelong learning, allowing them to live their best life. Whereas libraries have been long served as trusted institutions for all members of the community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, and socioeconomical status. Whereas libraries strive to develop and maintain programs and collections that are as diverse as the populations they serve and ensure equity of access for all. Whereas libraries adapt to the ever-changing needs of the communities, continually expanding their collections, services, and partnerships. Whereas libraries play a critical role in the economic vitality of communities by providing internet technology access, literacy skills, and support for job seekers, small businesses, and entrepreneurs. Whereas libraries are accessible and inclusive places that promote a sense of local connection, advancing understanding, civic engagement, and shared community goals. Whereas libraries are cornerstones of democracy, promoting the free exchange of information and ideas for all. Whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers are joining library supporters and advocates across the nation to celebrate National Library Week. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Brad Sherman, Mayor, proclaim National Library Week, April 23rd through the 29th, 2023. During this week, I encourage all residents to visit their library and explore the wealth of resources available.
And then get a free ride for transportation.
That's right. That's going to be a great week. You just ride all over, read. Will there be books in the, would that make it a bookmobile? Casey has books in there? Sorry about that. Okay. 2023 Arbor Day proclamation. Mr. Tom Van Segeren.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and City staff. On behalf of the City of Sydney Tree Board, I am in front of you tonight to ask for the proclamation for Tree City USA. One criteria to apply for Tree City USA designation is to have a proclamation read and signed by the mayor each year. For the past 37 years, Sydney has been designated as a Tree City USA. This year, April 28th, is Arbor Day in Nebraska. We will be having our annual Arbor Day celebration with the city tree giveaway on April 22nd at the Lodgepole Valley Youth Camp. Registration will begin at 7 o'clock with the program starting at 8. There will be a Western Nebraska Community Forester on hand, Chrissy Land, will be there to discuss planting trees and where the best planting would be in relation to a house, buildings, or electrical wires, etc. Requirements to apply for Tree City USA are to have a tree board, a community ordinance, a forestry program with an annual budget of at least $2 per capita, and an Arbor Day observation and proclamation. Our speaker is Chrissy Land, who's our Western Nebraska Community Forester out of Scotts Bluff. The Girl Scouts and Cub Scouts will help distribute trees the day of the giveaway, and they will earn an activity badge for that. The youth camp provides use of the facility at no cost, and I have a list of trees here that we're going to talk about. The trees we have on hand for the giveaway are Ruby Slippers Maple, Prairie Gold Aspen, Merlot Bird Cherry, Heritage Oak, Northern Acclaim Honey Locust, Redmond Linden, Prairie Expedition Elm, Baby Blue Eyes Spruce, Vanderwolf Limber Pine, and Austrian Pine. And so I would ask the mayor to read the proclamation, and you have a copy.
I have, did I already? I'll just, this one looks better. Arbor Day proclamation. In 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for planting trees. This holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. Since then, Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. Trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by bonding water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. Trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. Trees in our city also increase the property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. Whereas Sydney has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation for the past 37 years and desires to continue its tree planting ways. Now therefore, I, Brad Sherman, Mayor of the City of Sydney, do hereby proclaim April 28, 2023 as Arbor Day in the City of Sydney, and I urge all citizens to support efforts to protect our trees and islands and to support our city's urban forestry program. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of the present and future generations. Now you have more to tell us.
One other thing on that still is if I could encourage a council member or two to come to the tree giveaway, and that gives us someone to hand the Tree City flag to. We'd sure encourage you to come out and meet the public there. It's on Saturday, as we said, the April 22nd. So think about it on your calendars, and if you can be there, great. We'd sure like that. Okay. You want me to jump right into?
Just keep going.
Okay.
Doing a great job.
All right. We're seeking a recommendation or a reappointment of 2 tree board members. Steve Waller is here tonight, and Ryan Reisdorf is the other one being reappointed. Ryan had a conflict with his, I think, South Platte NRD meeting was at 5 tonight, so otherwise he would have been here. The tree board consists of 5 members for terms of 3 years. Board members must be residents of the city. It is the responsibility of the board to study, investigate, counsel, and develop a plan for the care, preservation, trimming, planting, replanting, removal, and disposition of trees and shrubs in public ways, streets, and alleys. And on October 6, 2021, we had an opening in a seat on the tree board, and Steve Waller was appointed to finish that term, which expires April 24th, 2023, so in a few days here. We advertised in March and didn't receive any other applications. Ryan Reisdorf's term was the typical 3-year term. Ryan's been an active member on the board since 2011, and Stephen joined us last year to fill out the term for Dana in 2022. So I would just recommend that we reappoint those 2 if you want to consider that.
I make a motion that we bring those 2 members to the tree board.
Second.
All right. Motion by Radcliffe, second by Galloway. Roll call, please.
Galloway,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes?
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Bondegar,
Yes.
Stroman.
Yes.
All right, motion passes 5-0. Welcome to you guys. And now, he's
Coming.
going to ask something.
Again. All right. This agenda item is for the replacement of the cemetery's south shop roof. Chad Radke, our cemetery sexton, asked him to come tonight to meet the boards, or the council, be here for this. This past summer, we appropriated in the budget $13,650 in the cemetery's capital reserve budget for this project. The south shop at the Greenwood Cemetery is the original building used as storage and the office at the time, back in I'm going to say 60s at least. As time has passed, council has approved projects that have added more storage space and a new office to the north side of this shop. The south shop that we're talking about tonight at Greenwood Cemetery is used for storage of equipment and tools. The irrigation water well is located in that south shop, and so a hatch is needed in the roof to provide access for water well repairs. So that's part of the roof repair. The south shop houses the components for the submersible water well used to irrigate the cemetery lawns. The electric irrigation controller and timer is located in the south shop. Cemetery Department identified problems with leaks and deterioration of the shop roof and ceiling. The original roof did not have a proper vapor barrier installed at construction. This allowed condensation of moisture to drip down from the underside of the metal roof onto the insulation and the plywood ceiling panels. Marshall was instrumental in helping me with the RFP, or doing the RFP, and we posted that bid on the city website, social media, sent it out to local contractors 2 different times, one February 6th and then again March 16th. Finally, during the one on the 16th, we got some phone inquiries about it, but no roofers turned in any bids. So next we simply started calling them. We decided we think that the job is simply too small for larger roofing companies, and so that's why we weren't getting any bids. We phoned 4 companies, 2 showed interest, 1 turned in a bid by the deadline, and their bid came in from Weathercraft Companies of $13,589 for the roof replacement. The new vapor barrier and the access hatch are included in that, and so I would submit this bid to the council for consideration, $13,589 for the cemetery department roof repair, and it's about $61 under the amount we allotted for it, appropriated for it in the capital reserve budget. So,
A lot of work to get that one bid.
yeah. Thank you, Marshall, for all your efforts to do that, and all of City.
Marshall did some of the work.
Most of the work.
Excellent.
And he was instrumental in helping us decide what materials needed to be because of the way the span were on the roof there.
Yeah, they've got it's not the typical 2-foot span, they've got 4-foot span between girt. So we had to step up the metal. When I measured that was scary. I mean, step on that whole 10, it's like, anyway. So we're gonna have a roof hatch put in so that it will enable them to get to the wellhead, to pull the wellhead out. We're also having roof ventilation as well as vapor barrier put in, so it'll cut down on the condensation. Because it was literally raining on the inside of that building from the condensation buildup.
So your estimation that this bid is within reason for you?
Yes, very much so.
Well, if there's no more tough questions for Tom, do you have a motion?
I'll move to approve the bid to replace the cemetery building roof.
I'll second.
Galloway, second by Bondegaard.
Sherman?
Roll call, please. Yes.
Radcliffe?
Yes.
Bondegaard?
Yes.
Strowman?
Yes.
Galloway?
Yes.
Perfect. Motion passes 5-0. You can sit down now. You're 3-0.
He did stay up there the whole time.
He did. He didn't even ask to sit down.
I know.
Let's see. So we have next Diane Stoutenberg. Can you talk to us about some foul in the city limits?
I've never done this before, so I live in Sydney. I live on Lodgepole. Golf course is my backyard. I am just wondering if someone can explain to me why fowl, chicken, ducks, whatever, are not approved, I guess, within the city limits. Lodgepole has it, lots of friends in other cities, and they live within city limits. They also are allowed to have chickens in their yard, no roosters, but just chickens. And I was just wondering what the rationale was. I was told that the no chicken rule has been in effect forever, but that doesn't necessarily mean it can't be changed. So I'm just wondering if there's really good rationale for it. I don't know. I'm new to this idea. I would like to have chickens for eggs, but I just need some guidance, I guess.
Okay. And if I understand this, tonight, we can talk about it, but it has to start with the planning commission because this needs to go. It will actually change an ordinance and change the way that things are zoned.
For zoning.
So it needs to go through them first. Now,
I
as far
understand.
as why, I can't tell you exactly why, I just know that.
Nobody I've talked to has been
More-
able to give me a rationale either.
And again, I can only speak for myself, but I imagine if I had neighbors with chickens, I could see potential issues with that, and there would have to be lots of rules and regulations and the way that they're kept and how many you could have and where they could go and all that fun stuff, and I'm sure that's why a lot of cities probably choose not to deal with it, but just my guess. But like I said, obviously we need not to pass the buck or anything. I
Right.
mean, obviously, it
It's
has
a
to start-
process.
Yeah, it has to start with them, but, anytime somebody has an issue or a concern, to bring it to the city council or the city and start the process would clearly love to, make sure we're doing the right thing for certain.
Okay.
But, anybody else have any questions? Comments?
I mean, I just think we'd want public input on this before we go.
Would the public vote on this change in the ordinance, or would it just be?
It would go to the planning commission first, and then if the planning commission would recommend it, then it would come back to the council in ordinance form.
Okay.
And it
There's
would-
a lot of romance with having chickens. Until you have chickens.
Hey, could you have her?
Oh,
Right, you can't.
if you want,
Yeah,
can
she
you
can't.
come up, tell us your
Brad-
name and
Brad.
Address.
I mean,
Excuse me.
I am for having, okay,
we've got this on for,
so I see this on the,
I'm sorry, ma'am, hang on just one second, please.
so are you taking public comments at this time? Is that what you want to do?
is that, because that's.
You're not giving everybody the
I
opportunity
was
to
gonna say,
speak.
you've got in here requests for fowl inside city limits, so you've got something on here that tells people this is going to be something that's discussed. So you're
Yeah.
within your rights there.
Yeah.
So it's up to you whether you want to continue your discussion or if you want to open it to public comments.
Okay, yeah, and to be honest with you, like I said, I think it would be best just to take it to the planning commission first. And then, if it makes it back to us, then we'll definitely have public comments then.
Yeah, I just don't know how things work.
Right, no, and that's perfectly fine,
Yeah,
that's
perfect.
what we're all about, we're gonna get through this together.
Yeah,
But-
I'm for chickens,
So she
so they stop laying.
Well, there you go, so, again, we'll,
An application needs to be made to the planning commission.
yeah, just, and I don't know if David or Marshall, if you've dealt with this yet, or
I
given
was
her the
certain it was not,
information.
I was certain it was not here when that ordinance was written, so I can't speak to what the reasoning was then. I don't know if Chief knows of anything that,
I mean, proper procedure would be to an application to the planning
yes,
commission,
That's absolutely correct, yes.
And you can go,
which
They
the
can
city
come
office
here.
can help you with that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much. Now we have, Mike Palmer is gonna address us and show someone with my capabilities how to get into the ACE website and choose your guest.
Well, I don't know if we're going to be quite that
You don't know if you're that good, do you?
high level.
So you're saying he's dumb.
It's
I hear
been
there's
said
37
before.
slides.
So you're
I
saying he's thick.
Should only take an hour or so. Which one do you want?
That one.
I also that one's up here. I brought some hard copies specifically for Brandon, so he can actually see the.
Bob loves sitting there. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
Never complained.
He never, Bob never
It's the same
complained.
slideshow.
I feel confident that this PowerPoint might just get me there.
Well, let's hope so. Mike Palmer, I'm Sydney's representative on the ACE Board of Directors. So just a quick brief history. ACE has been around for 25 years, the same year that Choice Gas started. It started as KN Energy. It currently changed name a few times, but currently the utility is Black Hills Energy. It's not working? So essentially, when ACE was formed, Choice was just in its infancy, and a group of communities wanted to get together with three common purposes. The first one would be competition. They wanted to push competition for the consumers. They wanted to advocate for the consumers. And thirdly, they wanted to create community impact. Currently, ACE is owned by 75 communities, Sydney being one of the owners. And we are actually founding owners of the organization. Go ahead. There's a quick list of all the 75 communities that are owners of ACE. Go ahead, Wayne. Go ahead. So just a real quick rundown. There's two things. There's a supplier and a distributor. What you're selecting is your supply. So it's the only thing that you get. It's still going to come through Black Hills lines. You're still going to get your bill from Black Hills. You're essentially selecting the commodity. So, and who provides that commodity. Just like corn or anything else, gas is traded openly on the market. So you're selecting who you want to supply your natural gas. Go ahead. So again, when you see your bill, you're going to see a whole lot of things, like who's bringing you your gas. Currently, there's 7 suppliers within that people can choose for ACE or for the Choice Gas. But really, the only thing that's going to come is that little thing there in the box. It's the energy supply. That's what you're. When you select one of the 7 companies, that will be that portion of the bill. You're still going to have all your distribution charges and everything like that. That's going to come from Black Hills. Go ahead. So there's obviously different pricing options. So when you get your everyone, you should have got one of these in the mail, I hope. If you didn't, you might have been locked in for a 2-year term or 3-year term, depending on what you offered. But there's going to be different. They're going to have all different types of options that you can do. So you can lock in on ACE specifically. You can lock into a weather shield. So it's a fixed monthly bill. Every month you're going to have the same bill. A lot of people like to do that, so it kind of levelizes your bills. You're going to have a fixed rate per therm, which is on a 1-year contract or a 2-year contract. So you're fixing your rate for a whole year. That being said, it's going to fluctuate with usage every year. And then you're going to have a market rate based. That's where you're hoping that the market goes down and you're going to save some money. But obviously, if we had a winter like we had last year, when Storm Erie came through, people got some sticker shock when natural gas just skyrocketed. So that's also a 1 and a 3. So basically what you want to do is you're going to pick what company you want to use. All 7 of them are listed. They're Black Hills Energy Service, which is separate from the distribution side. Wood River Energy is another supplier. Symmetry, Uncle Frank's Energy Service, ACE, Vista Energy, and Constellation, and they're going to have all those different options. Okay? Go ahead. So the official gas opened up April 6th. It runs through the 26th. It ends on Wednesday this year instead of Thursday. That's an important note. So you want to make sure you make your selection. If there's one thing that we want to stress to you is make a selection. Do not use the rollover rates. Rollover rates are always typically higher. Not always. They are always higher than what you're going to be able to do if you choose. So make sure you select someone. The mailers should be in the mail. Everyone should have these by now. The day after you choose, which is probably one of the biggest things of it, all marketing stops. So you should not receive any more phone calls. You should not receive any more emails. That's something that people complained about to the Public Service Commission, and they kind of said once you select, you can be done. No more people trying to beat down your door to get you to select them. And again, make sure that you choose.
So clarify on that, so if I'm on ACE now, I
You
get the
will-
thing in the mail, I'm on ACE, do I need to do anything? Do I still have to choose?
You want to choose. So your current supplier will, so if you do not choose, if you're on ACE or you're on any of the 7, all 7 of these are the same supplier. So if you were on ACE last year, if you were on Black Hills, you will roll over to the same company. But the rollover rate is going to be higher. So I cannot stress it enough. Make sure you choose. Because your rollover rate, no matter what company you're currently with, is going to be higher. Go ahead. So again, why does it matter? You're still going to have gas if you don't. There will be no service interruptions if you don't choose. But again, your rate's probably it is going to be higher than if you don't choose. Obviously, the market is very volatile right now. Sorry, excuse me. Year after year, customers who actively choose save money. That's just all there is to it. Residential savings, as they say, could be more than $100. So, I mean, it's real money. Go ahead. So here's just a quick Henry Hub graph of gas prices. You can see they've actually come down quite a little bit compared to where they were last year. Last year's gas rates were really high, really the highest I've ever seen since I've been on the board. They were approaching $1, which was almost double of what they had been prior to. Say that again.
Is that 5 years worth of data up there?
That goes to 18, yep. So it just kind of shows you, we really started to see that increase last year during the selection. If you remember the selection last year, they were approaching $1 in the western region. Right now, I think they're 63 cents, I mean, that's kind of where they're at right now. Obviously, if you call in every day, they're going to change. And honestly, some of these companies, they cherry pick, so that if you have a really good account, they might give you a better price. They have all your history and what they need to do. Go ahead. One more. So again, we're not here to tout anyone. We want you to choose someone, but we obviously are a member owner of ACE. So some of the reason that you want to choose ACE and why we would like you to choose ACE if it fits in within the budget. At the January board meeting, we gave back $200,000 to the communities. That's kind of making that impact on the communities. Our portion of that was $16,825. To date, in the last 25 years, the ACE organization has given back $3.5 million to they're not-for-profit, so any revenue that they make, they give back. I think we've received over the 25 years over $250,000. So a lot of good stuff has happened with ACE funds. Quick little plug on the Give Back initiatives. We've won the last 2 project of the years, if you recall, in our population category. Last meeting we presented those. Community cleanups. If there's any organization out there looking for a way to give back, ACE sponsors a community cleanup. They give you all the things and they'll make a donation to your group. I believe it's $250. That if there's a group out there looking for someone or something to do kind of as a volunteer type organization that's looking to give back to the community, ACE wants to be part of that, and then they want to make a donation on part of the group. Go ahead. And this is probably one of the most exciting parts for this year for ACE on the 25-year anniversary. They are going to give 25 residential customers a chance to win up to a year's worth of natural gas. So if you choose ACE, you're automatically enrolled. One of the stipulations is that they can't tie it to choosing ACE. So anyone that wants to sign up for the free year for gas for a year can. But if you choose ACE, you're automatically thrown in. If you're not, you need to go to the terms and conditions on ACE Energy's website, and you can basically register there or have a mailer or something to that effect. But, so 25 lucky customers this year. ACE is going to be purchasing their gas for a whole year, obviously within the 700 therms for whatever. So if you use twice that, you're only going to get the 700 therms. But that's kind of the average use of a home. So I think that's the end of that portion, and then we'll get into kind of this. This is really what you guys want. So on your commodity selection, on the back page of that, there should be ways that you can do this. The most important portion of this is you're going to have an account number and you're going to have a control number. So if you call in this number, 877-245-3506, they are going to ask you to make a selection. You're going to give them that account number and the control number. At such time, they will give you a confirmation number. Once you do that, you're done. Now, if you do not want to do it over the phone, you can do it online at choicegas.com. And if you are old-fashioned like me, you can do it through the mail. So, but really it's probably online or over the phone. And if anyone didn't get these, let us know, and we can reach out to the Choice Gas and see what happened. So, I mean, that's what we want to do, is we want to advocate for the consumer. We would love them to choose ACE, but we also know that they need to do what's best for them. So, do you know what you need to do now, Brad?
I feel confident. I just called 8675309. It was something like that. Maybe you want to repeat it. I don't want to mislead anybody.
Does that look exactly like what you got in the mail? Because I thought mine was yellow. No?
That's probably because you.
This is
Yeah. It's a preference.
Yeah, I don't know what color. They were white, right? This is a copy of actually one from the city. It was white,
Okay.
but it might be yellow. I don't know. Maybe they printed on different color paper. This is probably maybe a commercial account too is going to be different. So, if it should. The main points though, that account number, that control number, get your confirmation. Once you do that, all marketing stops. Because I know people love to be marketed too. So, quick little any other questions regarding that?
I do have one.
Okay.
So, for next year, when we're going for the three-peat on the projects, do we have to have a project?
You have to have a project that has used ACE funds in the last 3 years. That's kind of their stipulation.
You guys got something ready?
Well, I don't think we can't do something we've already done.
So like street lights or something like that?
Oh, man, that would be
There you go. That's
a great idea, Roger. We're here to help.
so, and I don't know where that account sits, as far as what's in there, but.
I just don't want to lose out on the chance of a three-peat.
Yeah, I mean,
technicality.
I'm an old Bulls fan, so, I'd love to be like Michael Jordan.
There you go.
Any other questions? Sorry. Okay. The quick other thing, if people want some more information and they want to sit down and talk to us in person, and again, we will help them through that process. We are going to have an open house here from 9 to 11 on Thursday. This coming Thursday, the 13th. So I'll sit down and I'll help you make sure that you can get the numbers. I'll have a computer here if we need to get online or whatever, if people need to do that. That's what we're here for. So 9 to 11, and then if it doesn't work for them, just have them call the office and I can help them do whatever they need to do throughout the selection period. I might be opening myself up for a headache, but that's okay. That's what we're here for. So 9 to 11.
Refreshments?
Refreshments will be served.
Are you going to give away the little computer port tires again? Still got like 6 of those that you wrap around the...
Oh,
You don't even remember.
no, we never got those.
Isn't that so
We never got those this year. There'll be some giveaways, but the computer tie things I don't think are going to be on that one. So,
That's always...
All right, very good. Anything else?
Thank you very much, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we've got, Hank is getting ready for a 6-year improvement plan public hearing. So we'll go into a public hearing at 6:10.
I'm Hank Radke with the Street Department, and we're doing here our annual report of the 1 and 6-year street improvement plan. You have to have a public hearing required by the state, show what you're going to do with your money when you get enough money to do something, but you do have to have a plan in place, a 1 and 6-year plan every year. So this is what with our 2023 year. Go ahead. This tells you exactly why we have to do it. If you want to follow along, I think you guys got a sheet down there if you can't read it, Brandon. So every year it tells you what you have to have along Lane Springs, what I was just talking about. And it shows in your statewide highway systems and everything. And the reason you have these things is so you can show what you're doing, and you do it to their standards of classification standards of the streets and the state standards. They got to be so wide, and et cetera, et cetera. Next slide, please. And this is how we get our funding from the state. It's from federal fuel tax, goes to the state, and the state gives it to you. And this is the formula they use. 50% of the population, that's 50% of the allocation from the most recent census. And then your total motor vehicle registrations is 30%. And I can't emphasize this because you have people that do not pay their taxes because they don't register their vehicles here, but they know how to complain, but they're not paying their share. But you take this and you take how many vehicles is not registered, and that could put us into a next bracket, just like income tax. Those paid those, we could be higher up and maybe get more allocation, more funding. And then the 20% is the total lane miles of the city. Lane miles is, for instance, let me explain, is you have your center lane miles. If you have a 1 mile segment of road, that's 1 mile. But lane miles, it's 4 lanes, so that's 4 lane miles. Right now, our current thing for lane miles, total for lane miles is from here to the Kearney Archway. That's our total lane miles. Next slide, please. This shows how we get, the first half of our money is free. The second half has to be matched by half for the city. They pay half, so if the state gives us $1, they give us 50. The city has to match 50 cents. Next slide. So we'll go into it. These are the forms that we use. You no longer have to use them, but I still use them because when the wheel, if it works, there's no sense of redoing it. So we're going to go in. Next slide, please. The 1-year plan that we're looking for doing is an engineering design. We want to do Forest Street from 17th Avenue and finish it out to 21st. It's in horrendous shape. It's horrible. We need to get it fixed. I've been trying to get enough money. We're pretty close to having enough money to do the project. And the engineer study design, not study, we've already did a study, kind of what it'd cost. But the design would be, the engineer design would be $60,000. And again, this is a very, very bad street. Next slide, please. This is pictures of it. It's kind of out of focus, but you can see you got patches on top of patches, and you put the patch of concrete, it's so rotted it just peels right back off. And there's some more pictures of it down the road. It's really, really, in my opinion, one of the worst streets in town, if not the worst. It needs replaced. Next slide, please. The other thing we have is Jackson Street. Again, we want to do the engineering design on it. That is estimated to be about around $3,000. And what that is for is what we want to do. If you go to the next slide, please. By the Catholic Church there, we put a catch basin on the corner there, and that dip would be replaced. And on the other side, I think there's another slide. On the other side, we put another catch basin, and then one over on the other side. Put 3 catch basins in there, catch a bunch of that storm water, and run it down to Illinois Street from there. We've got it stubbed out when they did that, Cabela's had that improvement thing. We had it stubbed out for future so we could try to do this. This has been on our mind to get this done. That will try to alleviate all the ice that builds up by the Catholic Church, because every winter it goes clear out into, the ice is clear out into the driving lane. So if we can get some of that, and then in the summer when the storm water comes around, help alleviate that flooding there. So if we can get it down on the ground in there, that's what we're looking at doing. Next slide, please. In the 6-year improvement, you have to have your projects up there. The 17th to the 21st, 4th Street, will be $1,236,500. And Jackson Street would be approximately $110,000. And we like to, if we get the engineer study, we would like to try to get both those in production this year to be the engineer study, next year go into construction. We have a lot of that money already saved up for Forest. We're pretty close, is that correct, Lane?
Yeah, there's about $950,000 in that.
That we already have saved up. And
Is
let
that
me say,
is that the half-cent sales tax?
Yes, I was gonna say.
Or city's regular budget?
Nope, that's half-cent sales tax. Correct? Correct. That's why it's important that we got that passed again. This will be another project. We did 13th Avenue and we did Elm Street the same way. Didn't cost nobody anything but the sales tax revenue. That's what this will be on Forest. And then we have the 12th Avenue from Illinois to Hickory at $211,860, and 11th Avenue to same thing, Illinois to Hickory. Those are on there in case we ever got a grant. They need replaced, they're downtown, but what we got them there for is if we had got a downtown improvement grant or of any sort, we could try to help use some of that to put on the street. If we have that there, since sorry on the 1-6, we can move it up without any problems. There's some other streets that's bad, but that's for the next presentation. We do have a plan for all of them, trying to. One of them is Hickory Street. It's in bad shape, but we're trying to work on, see if we can find some type of a grant to help pay for that, because it used to be a state historical highway. Last year or the year before, they made that a national historical highway. So hopefully somewhere we keep trying to look to see if we can find some funding to help with that. Next slide, please. This is the map that shows where those two projects are. Next one. And that's the presentation. So we'll just ask you to approve the 1 and 6-year plan and get those two projects design going and go from there. Hopefully we can get into design. Like I said, we got most of the money, a lot of it already built up, thanks to the sales tax. Any questions?
I think we're good. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 6:18. And we have a motion. Second. Motion by Bondegaard, second by Radcliffe. Roll call, please.
Radcliffe?
Yes.
Bondegaard?
Yes.
Stroman?
Yes.
Galloway?
Yes.
Sherman?
Yes. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
You're still up.
And
You're
don't
up.
you go anywhere. Everybody's doing at least 2 presentations tonight. Trying to get our money's worth.
Yes, you are. I don't have no proclamations to give out. However, I would like to ask you if you could make a proclamation, end the snow and let's go into the rain. And if you could do that. I don't know what your connections are with Mother Nature, but see what you can do.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Me and David will get right on.
Next thing on the agenda is the crack sealing contract. We set out for bids. We got 2 bids that came in. One was from Bader Construction in the amount of 58 cents per linear foot. The other one is Heinz Construction, which was 39 cents per linear foot. Both these people have done business with us before, have done it. They both had all the criteria, the insurance, they had all the forms filled out as proper. My recommendation, as you can see there, would be to take the lowest bid. I have no problem with their work. They've done it the last 3 years. Beta has also have. People ask me how they do it so much cheaper, and I don't know how they do it so much cheaper. Except maybe the fact that Heinz Construction is pretty, not 100%, we're probably 50% owned, family owned and operated. So they do their own, so that's the only thing I can figure out. The other guy says, how much? The other guy, how did they do that? I go, well, I don't know, family owned and operated. There used to be 3 of them, but the father passed away, and so now it's still father and son, but their granddad that passed away, but it's still a family deal. They do great work, so I have no problems with them, so that's my recommendation.
Like you said, they've done it the last, this will be the 3rd year in a row?
Yeah, it's about 30 years in a row that they've got it. Pretty close set. And the bids have always been within a few cents every year from each of the, both of them.
And I think I asked this last year, but I don't remember the answer. How do we know that they're doing this by foot? How do they measure how many feet?
Because nobody measures anything unless my crew's with them. They measure, our crew member has to be there because they measure. So we have someone monitor it.
And if I remember right, we still supply the tar or whatever.
That's correct. And we do that so we can control what we put in. Because you can do a project and put the cheapest junk that might be from Alabama because it's cheaper, but their climate control is a lot different than ours. And I'm just throwing that Alabama, nothing against them, just different climate, it'd be a different type of tar. And it might be cheaper, so.
You're all going to be getting a letter from the state of Alabama. Any other questions? We have a motion to approve the bid for Heinz Construction.
So moved.
Motion by Galloway. Second by Stroman. Roll call, please.
Bondegaard?
Yes.
Stroman?
Yes.
Galloway?
Yes.
Sherman?
Yes.
Radcliffe?
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Hank.
All right. Freedom yours.
Thank you, Tom. Oh,
Hey, party mode.
I'll go ahead and give you a brief overview of what we're doing. This is something that we've done several times. The city applies for money through the state DED, and we did apply on behalf of New Freedom Yurt Structures LLC for $75,000 in site and building development grant funds to be used for retrofitting and renovations of the facility located at 3200 Road 101. I do have somebody from Freedom Yurt here tonight, and also somebody from the State Economic Development. So do you want to tell a little about, do you want to start with you? Trey, you want to tell a little bit about what you're doing with these funds? I can give a generic description of what we applied, but I wasn't there with the hammer and the nails. So.
State your name for the record, please.
There might be people in here that don't know who you are.
There could be something.
I'm Trent Santero. About last spring, almost this time, we quickly moved into a new space, which, good and bad, we kind of had to stick and move on a lot of infrastructure and leasehold improvements. We are out there at the DCs. Biggest thing inside there, what that space gave us was the ability to scale when the time comes, and there's a few big elements that we're chasing to do that right now. But inside there, it was kind of a blank slate, and if you've been inside of any of those DC centers, they're kind of old and a little bit dilapidated, but we had to build stations for all of our machines. We built giant paint booths to kind of monitor and control our paint process and how we bring those together. Offices, restrooms, kind of the whole thing that was in there. And the state was good enough. When we started, we said, listen, we're going to apply for this, but we're scrambling. We're going to move pretty quick. So those things are all still in progress, but we've been scrambling to get them done ever since. We ship, if you're not familiar with us, we build yurt cabins. We always make sure we say cabin because people want to say a tent. It's not a tent. It's a cabin. It's wood, and it's kind of heavy duty, but we ship them all over the world, and Sydney's their home, and it has been, I think, since it may have started. The company started in Colorado about 5 years ago, possibly, but I think for the last 3.5 to 4 has been in Sydney. So it's kind of a cool business out there in the middle of nowhere, but that's the backstory. Did I do okay?
Yeah, it's a very cool place.
Excellent job.
You want to go? Put your yurt in the dirt.
Brains of the operation.
Good evening. My name is Brittany Harden. I represent the Department of Economic Development at the state of Nebraska. I'm just here to support Freedom Yurt Cabins and their expansion projects via the state of Nebraska Site and Building Development Fund. That SBDF fund is a state-run fund that we administer at the Department of Economic Development. We award these funds to primarily expansion projects. We do utilize some for recruitment projects. It's really important to us at the state to invest in the companies who are already here in Nebraska and are already investing in our state. So the SBDF fund will, as Trent said, support their expansion, their ongoing expansion project. Because of the way funding mechanism work at the state of Nebraska and federally as well, the city of Sidney applies on behalf of the company for the funds. And as Mr. Santero said, it's for $75,000. And we have partnered with the city via this fund before, over the past 4 or 5 years, and we had the opportunity to do that, again, for expansion and recruitment projects. So we really appreciate the opportunity to partner with you guys and the city. The city has been a great partner, David, as well. So does anyone have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we got a motion for the application of $75,000 grant.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Radcliffe, second by Galloway. Roll call, please.
Stroman,
Yes.
Galloway,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Vonnegut.
Yes.
Perfect. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much for coming to the meeting. That's awesome. So now we have budget reports, and go ahead. I was going to say something.
I know this is what you look forward to, Brad. Good evening, council. Lane Kazire, Finance Director. Just same report that we do monthly. Property tax, a little bit behind previous years. Varies year to year when people pay property taxes. Sales and occupation tax slightly above our projections so far, 50% through the year. We're at 53% of our budgeted revenues, and tip in ahead of where we have been in the past as well. Fees for service, we're kind of back in line with categories this year, largely because the golf course hasn't been able to open until last weekend, so it's been a little cold. State, fed, and county, slightly behind where we were a year ago, but we're still consistent with previous years. Still, we're getting a little ARPA money last year at this time too. So, and then I did franchise fees and admin fees. Let's see, there we go. Admin fees were recorded for the first quarter, and the franchise fees have been recorded as well, or second quarters as well too, and that's why we're right in line with those ones. And then the other, again, consistent with previous years, but the largest portion of that category was from rent from the UST, so I wouldn't anticipate reaching budget for that one. And then, on your other spreadsheet there, I have a little chart that shows revenues and expenditures for the general fund, street, electric, water, and sewer. Again, general fund, everything is, at 50% of the year, everything is at or under that 50% mark, so no one's going crazy. Tom's not doing too much back there, so. The street fund, 50% of the year, street department's only spent 25% of their budget so far and recorded 50% of their revenues. Motor vehicle tax error that I talked about last month was corrected. Electric fund is up $915,000 this year, but there was a missed power payment, I believe, Mike, that will,
440,000.
yeah, would drop that down, so. So.
So that number's a little bit skewed.
Yeah, it looked really good until Mike came and ruined my day, but. Water, as talked about last month, the water, typically winter months aren't great for the water department. I didn't start watering my grass yet. I did put a little bit on it last night, don't tell my wife, but currently they're in the red $84,000, but last year at this point in time they were down $141,000, so better than last year. Sewer is currently in the red at 16,909, which is better than last month when they were in the hole 36,000, and last year at this point they were in the hole 168,000. So that rate increase has helped tremendously there. And then again, talk about rate increase. The landfill is up $102,000 on the year. They've received 51% of their budgeted revenues and only expended 46% of their expenses so far. So overall, not too doomy and gloomy, I guess.
Have any concerns on the revenue? You said we're 50% through the year. We received 36% of our revenue. Is that right on that first page?
For the state, yeah, and a lot of that is we had budgeted for that big grant. There's like, what did we put, $1.4 million or something like that in there for a grant. And we did get the Safe Streets for All grant, which was $300,000, and so that'll go for that. But there's, well, budgeted revenue is like $9 million. It's more like $7 million probably in terms of.
We always budget for grants just in case if you don't budget for them and you get the money, then you have to go back to the state and get a budget adjustment before you can even spend the money. And it could hold up a project.
It could hold up the process, and so that's why we did that. So it only looks like we're at 36% of our overall revenues, but it's not. Yeah, because if you look, the general fund total is up $107,000, so. Any other questions?
You did such a great job. So we have a motion to approve the March budget report.
I'll motion.
Motion by Bondinger, second by Strong. Roll call, please.
Galloway?
Yes.
Sherman?
Yes.
Radcliffe?
Yes.
Bonnegaard?
Yes.
Stroman?
Yes. All
right, thank you.
5-0, thank you, Wayne. And claims for March, I believe Paul still holds the claims world record. Is that true? Oh, it was broken directly after. It's like
Correct.
3 consecutive world record attempts, and then Roger does the claims, and what happened?
I refuse to be pulled into those shenanigans.
I want to make sure that was on record.
I have no problem with that.
Well, how do you feel about them?
Claims are good. Claims were good. I asked about an S fund, but she assured me it was not a slush fund.
Just regular old
Just
S?
regular fund.
Okay. Well, there's nothing fishy about that.
The record's intact.
We have a motion to approve the claims for March.
So moved.
Motion by Galloway, second by Radcliffe. Roll call, please.
Sherman?
Yes.
Radcliffe?
Yes.
Bonnegaard?
Yes.
Stroman?
Yes.
Galloway?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. We have officially approved the budget of the claims. So now, David again, tell us everything that you know.
I just have a few things. I wanted to reiterate what Tom said about the tree giveaway on April 22nd. He says they open at 7, but the program starts at 8. I would suggest getting there early if you want the tree that you want of the ones he listed. I've been to this, and these things go fast. People show up very early, and they sign up very, very quickly. I think Bert was there last year. You know how
Do you
quickly.
remember what it was like last year on that day?
Yeah, it was very
The wind
cool.
was blowing about
We haven't
95
had
miles.
a warm one in a couple of years.
Oh, yeah, it was freezing, wasn't it?
It was very cold last year. But the trees do go quick, and you'll wind up, if you don't get there early, you might get the one that's second or third on your list, so it's always good to
But
show.
if you stick around, there's always extras.
Sometimes, it depends on what kinds, yeah.
I didn't see the guaranteed to die in year 3 variety on there this year.
So anyway, that's a really great event, so I encourage everybody to go to that. And for tomorrow, we are meeting, is that tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow, we're meeting here at 9:30 in the morning. The community center has hired somebody to do their strategic planning and future visioning, and they want to hear what the public has to say. And they're meeting with several different groups throughout the city, so I'm sure nobody will be left out. But they wanted to give us our time slot tomorrow at 9:30 a.m., and I sent out an email to some council members to see if anybody would like to show up. And Brad and Paul both graciously offered to come tomorrow morning and meet with Mike Nemeth and some of the community center board and give them some of their thoughts on what they think is important for the city and what they'd like to see. And I think some of the department heads might also be there as well. I mentioned that in staff meeting today, so maybe we'll get some city employees. I know we have a lot of city employees that have children and youth that compete in those programs, so they certainly want to hear from them as well. So that's tomorrow at 9:30 here in the city office. And then also, while I'm on the subject of community center, it is that time of year to do our budget meeting with them. And that has been scheduled. About the only time this month, because we have to have it done before the end of April, that Mike and I could fit in was April 20th at 10 a.m. And as you know, the way that committee works, it's 3 people from the community center, and then from the city, and these are defined roles. It would be their Mike Nemeth, their CEO, and it would be their board president and another board member. And then from the city, it's me, the mayor, and another city council member. Brad has said he can do April 20th at 10 a.m., but we need another council member, so if there's one other council member that would like to sit in on that budget meeting with the community center, we can sure use a volunteer. April 20th, I don't know what day Thursday, April 20th at 10 a.m. I don't remember who did, I think it was Roger and Bert that did it last
I've done it
year.
the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I can't make it that day.
Burke and I went to the last couple.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I can only be here once.
I don't think I can get out of work, so.
I'm out of town.
So am I.
What's that?
Can you reschedule the meeting another day or?
We might have to try. We're probably going to go outside of our agreement, maybe hit May. Mike and I did everything we could to try to find another day that we were both available and not out of town. I can try. I'll try. I'll reach out to him and see what I can do. But what can you guys do, though, so that I know what I'm offering him? Or whoever would be, other than Brad, interested in this.
I already said yes.
I could, pick
I didn't bring my phone here with me, so.
Are you talking about May?
Well, we're supposed to do it, what does it say, before May 1st, right? Prior to May 1st, that's going to be tough. I'm gone. The rest of this week is shot for me, and then I'm out of town Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week.
I would say the 25th through the, what does that say, 28th, I can fit it in.
I need to go grab my phone.
So you're available Thursday the 27th?
I don't know. I don't bring my phone into council meetings, so I don't have my calendar
Let's
on.
hash this thing out.
I can go get it if you want me to. I can go get it if you want me to. I just don't like having that in here. I want it to ring while I'm.
We're never going to have another opportunity where all 5 of us are together. Can't even get 2 of us to one meeting.
What was that? The budget. The budget meeting.
As soon as we get 2, I'll be like, I'll go. Or 3.
That's tomorrow. The budget meeting with the community.
That'll make Jay happy.
Okay. You guys, you wait until I'm talking and then you say something, so I can't know what you're up to.
We're shifty like that.
I don't know what Mike's schedule is either, but let's see. You're going to the following week on 24th to 27th.
25th through 28th.
25th.
Right? You said the 25th through the 28th?
That's when I'm available.
So no Monday, but Tuesday through Thursday, or Tuesday through Friday. 26 is possible for me, if Mike Nemeth can make that work, if his group can make that work.
I'm wide open that day, so.
Yep. Me too.
Should we try for 10 a.m. on the 20th? I have you. No, should we do 10 a.m. on the 26th? Should I try to shoot that to him?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
I'm already.
And if his people can't do it, then we'll just come up with something.
You come up with an agreement that postpones the.
Yeah, as long as we all agree we need to go into May, we need to go into May, that's fine. We probably should. I didn't realize it was creeping up on us so quick until Wayne says, we need to start doing this. as long as both sides are okay with going, we could too, so, which would open up a lot for me. So there's that, I will take that back to him, and also, Autumn sent something out to you guys, right, about the tour, you got that? Okay, good. And the last thing I want to mention is we did get our Creative District certification, so congratulations to everybody that worked on that project and everybody that was involved in that, so that's a huge milestone for us, that opens us up to a wealth of opportunity, and I was going to say she's gone now, but Brittany would tell you that the state is running a lot of money through this program anymore, so I think we are about the 7th or 8th city in Nebraska to get that designation, so it's good to be out front.
What would be the next steps for that group then?
We will start applying for our large grant now. We got the $4,000 grant in the very beginning to put together our workbook, which is a gigantic, probably 200-page document. Once we got through that, we were able to submit our certification. As soon as they certify you, the instant they certify you, you get your $10,000 grant, which we will be receiving here sometime soon. They've already sent us I don't think it's at the account yet, but they've already told us that we've been approved for that. To help us start working on our strategic plan that we put together to request our $250,000. That will be the next ask will be the big one. And we do plan on pairing that with other grants that might be available in that kind of realm as well, downtown grants. I know Pat has some things going on right now that I need to talk with them about Thursday when I go up there for those meetings. Because I think there's some opportunities there as well for that $250,000 to grow easily into $1 million if we do it right. So, okay, it's all good news.
Absolutely.
Yep. So, and that's all I had. I'll get back with you via email. You Brad, whatever Mike says.
Make that happen. Anything else? Other information provided to council?
That's all I have for now.
All right, well, we'll go around the room. Chief.
Nothing.
Nothing? Hank, you had a nice little night?
Oh, I got a couple things.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. We're gonna be working on the end of Virginia Lane, hopefully start tomorrow. We have an issue where it doesn't drain off. There's a big puddle at the end. So we got it engineered and designed, and we're going to hopefully get that done tomorrow, start tomorrow, and get it out so it can drain back over towards the ditch.
Is the
and
east
get out
end?
the street. That did leave a big mess.
Right at the end of Virginia, right at the end of Virginia Lane, when they did Jeswood, they built that ridge up a little bit, and so now it comes back into those driveways there on those end homes, and just makes ice skating rinks there in the winter for them. And so it's not very much of a slope. We don't need, it's barely even a foot, I think, but it's just enough to get it to go into the
It's not a
Jeswood
huge
ditch.
project, but if someone's in there digging, they're gonna ask you guys what's going on now, you know. You can tell. And then, a sad note, after 22 years, Mitch Bartling, last day is Friday.
Are you having a party?
No, as his request, he didn't want no reception, no nothing.
One of those kind of guys.
Yeah, so. But we're gonna go out and eat, I think, for lunch. But much deserved, and valued employee will be missed.
Absolutely. Is that it? Nothing else?
That's for me.
All right. Marshall, Tom brought, it was posse, so did Amanda. Marshall has always brought his entire department here to these meetings. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
What, you got anything for us?
The only thing that I've got is that 934 and 1555 Greenwood, there's going to be some road patches going on the north lane that will occur, gosh, I don't remember the dates. It ends on the 21st, so what is it? Tomorrow, yeah, from tomorrow to the 21st, there'll be some blockades out there, so just be aware.
Okay. Mike?
I do.
If anyone wants to promote ACE with the yard sign, I have some here, so by all means, let me know, and we can get those put out in your yard if that's of your wish. Also, quick plug, a reminder, if there's someone that needs to clean up some sort of a community give back, get a hold of me, because I don't think for the last couple of years anyone's been willing to do it, so we really would like to get that done. And then lastly, April 18th is Line Workers Appreciation Day, so I just want to give a shout out to all our linemen that keep the lights on 99.9% of the time, so I just want to give them a shout out, and if you see any of them out and about, please tell them how much they're appreciated. And I guess I should tell you, we have started our underground conversions. We actually started in the first day of spring, so we've been out in the north side of town, burying lines on the north side of town. That's kind of where we're at right now, and it's going fairly well. Ground's not really conducive to boring, but we're getting through and we're making some headway.
Lane, you have anything for your entire department?
You know, a power outage would have been really
All right, where we got? Tom, anything else?
Nothing else from me, thank you.
All right. Jeff, I know you got to say something.
David and I had a great meeting with Northrop Grumman and the Air Force this morning, and the city is going to do very well economically because of the Air Force project coming in. It was really productive conversation.
Good. So they're bringing some of that federal money with them to give us, because we ain't getting any from anyone.
Not state money from the governor.
No.
No.
Not our own governor.
I'll call the governor in New Jersey, maybe he'll help us out.
That would be awesome. Yeah, the governor of Alabama is talking to us now, so.
It's not Alabama.
Like that, all right, let's start over here. Randy?
Nothing. I've got 3 things tonight.
Oh, hey.
First of all, the reason that I was here at 5:29 and 30 seconds or whatever was I was at one of those community center meetings at the hospital. Just want to encourage you, if you get invited to one of those, go and give them your input and see where this goes. Kind of an exciting thing. Number 2, if Mr. Palmer would give me a 30-second update, not on light poles, but on the generation project and the solar panel project.
So the solar panel project's moving along fairly well. We just got our study back from a system impact. In fact, I got that email yesterday or the day before Friday. I can't remember which day it came in. So we understand that that's moving forward fairly, they're really wanting to get that online by the end of the year. We are going to have to curtail some energy from that facility because there's times during the course of the year that we don't produce enough on that feeder to do it. But that'll be means portion that we're dealing with. Going back to the means portion, at probably the next council meeting, they are requesting that we amend our contract to allow them to put their portion of the solar panels on that. So you'll probably have that's probably going to be in front of you in the next meeting.
Okay.
Generation project is moving forward. In fact, we have a call on Thursday as well to kind of talk about switchgear and things of that nature. We are still waiting for the generators to come out of the data center that they are in. They were supposed to be on site in January, and here we are in April, and obviously that's not taking place. So we really need those generators to create one lines so we can design the system appropriately. They're telling us that they're supposed to be here end of April, 1st of May, but we're kind of at their mercy when they pull those used units out. So I'll know more on Thursday, but we're trying to move forward as much as we can until we get those, and then we can start really getting the design put together.
Okay.
There with the streetlights.
Okay, lastly, I'd like to pay my respects to one of those gentlemen on the back wall back there. Dick Osterday, who was a mayor here back in the early 80s, I believe, is that right? Passed away last week, I believe, or this month anyway. He was a junior high teacher of mine, and I spent a lot of time with that guy in a boat fishing. I always enjoyed him and his personality. I used to give him crap all the time about being the mayor, and now here I am sitting up here, not in your seat, but anyway, he's a good guy, and just wanted to point that out, that he passed away.
All right, Paul. All right, nothing here. Roger?
Likewise, I'd offer condolences to the family of Dick Osterday. I got to work with him at school as a colleague, and we would have daily discussions, and a lot of it would center around civics and government and things, and he's part of the reason I'm here doing this stuff today. But I truly valued his opinions and input on any multitude of events and areas, so he will be sorely missed. And wish Mitch Bartling nothing but the best. Huge thank you and appreciation for all he's done over the many years. I would agree with you, Hank. He's been an outstanding employee for the city, and certainly appreciate everything he did for the city. I trust the historic downtown streetlights are still on target, but I hope that we can continue planning on that as we extend the project. You know, I envisioned through the length of Sydney. You know, a couple years ago when the ad ran in the paper, you know, someone last one out turned the lights off. It kind of became a motto in town. The lights are still on, and I frankly think they gave us the motto that we need to help create an identity for Sydney. So I look forward to that project continuing and growing. And then lastly, I did attend a meeting for what's going to become an endowment fund for Sydney. They have a name now. It's called the Sydney Area and Greater Area. So yeah, Sydney and Greater Area Endowment Fund. And the purpose of that will be to raise funds within the community that will become part of a perpetual fund, basically where the fund will continue to grow, and they will be able to award grants off of the interest of the money to do projects for the community in the greater area. We've seen some of the work that other endowment funds are doing in other communities. We've been working with the Nebraska Community Foundation and Janet Jensen to get organized. So our endowment fund is still in the organizational process, but if you see something labeled as SAGA, the Sydney Area and Greater Area Fund, that's what that's about. It truly has some great opportunities to do some wonderful things in our community. You only have to look at what some of the other communities in Nebraska are doing with their endowment funds to really see that this is truly a great opportunity for Sydney. And it is being seeded with $100,000 from the Sydney Donor Fund that is administered by the Nebraska Community Foundation. But as that group becomes organized, they will start working on raising more funds because the more funds that we can raise, the greater impact we can have for our community.
Great program.
Great program. I think I'm done.
Yeah, excellent. Well, again, condolences to the Osterday family. It's nice to hear stories about how clearly he influenced a couple people right here in this council. Your civic duty is very important. All the different committees and groups and things that are going on in this town right now, I mean, it's just, you know, each one of us had something to say about some organization or something, and everything is positive, everything's moving forward. We're preparing to, if I got anything from the meeting last week, we want to improve and increase our infrastructure so that we can exist and excel past the Sentinel Missile project that's going to bring people in and keep those people and the businesses that support them. So, you know, keep your eyes and ear out you got some extra money and you're looking to invest in something in this town, I think it's a great time to do that. Gosh, I think that's about it. We do have a couple closed sessions because we do them.
There's still something on item 16.
I'm sorry.
Is that right?
Well,
It's in there.
we're tabling.
Yeah,
the
no,
first
just-
closed session. Or
Yes.
we're going to ask you to, I guess.
Yes, the first
Jay got
closed session
communication.
was for real estate negotiations, and the people who wanted to discuss the negotiations are not able to make it, and weren't able to get it to us in time to remove from the agenda. So the request is that we table the real estate negotiations.
Item,
Include that information.
item number 16 on the agenda?
Well, item number 17 on mine.
Well, item number 16
Is what the
was
information
part
is.
of 17.
Oh,
Well, that's why I'm just pointing out for clarification, because there is an agenda item there.
Yes, city 16.
This is the Clausen,
My 16 shows just other information provided to council, so I don't know.
Which typically is empty, but this week it is not.
Okay.
Clausen's permitted
Okay,
to present something, so
Okay.
that's why I picked that.
yeah.
So they're not here to present, so we can table 16.
They would like to,
17.
yeah,
So we need a motion to table the
yes,
closed
please.
sessions?
And it'll be to next week, or to the next meeting.
Okay.
I move to table agenda item 16 till the next available meeting.
Is this for 16
16,
17.
and
Yeah.
17?
16.
Let's just do them one at a time. So we have a motion to table item 16 to the next meeting.
I'll second.
Motion by Galloway, second by Bondegar. Roll call, please.
Radcliffe?
yes.
Bonnegar?
Yes.
Stroman?
Yes.
Galloway?
Yes.
Sherman?
Yes.
In our packets, Jay, it's in there as a separate item.
I
Okay,
think we might have should have that under 17.
yeah,
Whoops.
that's all right, it's all right.
It
It was just general information, so it wasn't.
Cover this
need to
really
be-
good. Do we have a motion to table item 17 for the next meeting?
I move.
Well, do you need to table it, or do you just ask for a motion to go into closed session?
They're not here.
17 is for the real estate negotiations. That's
Yeah,
how it comes on my agenda.
Right, and I don't know, Roger's been explained this, but Lori went to school a couple weeks ago and learned so much stuff that when we have closed sessions, we can't bunch them all together. We have to have a closed session for each individual item. And so that's what we did here. We thought we were going to have a real estate negotiation, so we had a closed item for that, come back out, and then have another closed session for personnel. So that's why there's two separate closed sessions. But explain that one more.
Yes, you did.
Well, you explained it to me really well, so that's why I was able to do it that way. So anyway, do we have a motion to table item 17 for next week, or next meeting?
Second.
Motion by Bondegar, second by Radcliffe. Roll call, please.
Bonnegar?
Yes.
Stroman?
Yes.
Galloway?
Yes.
Sherman?
Yes.
Radcliffe?
Yes.
We'll be tabling this officially 5-0 till the next meeting. Now, do we have a motion to go into closed session for personnel as applicable? Mr. Stroman has made a motion to go into closed session. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bondegar seconds. Roll call, please.
Stroman?
Yes.
Galloway?
Yes.
Sherman?